Hello learners! In this session, you'll be learning about how to write an effective conclusion part of the IELTS essay. Many of us face problems with this one when we start with the conclusion part. What to write, what not to write down is really a kind of crucial issue. Now, how to write effective conclusion, we need to follow some steps which can definitely help you out to deal with that. So first, there are a few points you need to take into consideration. The first point is use a concluding phrase. Guys, it's really important for you to use the concluding phrase. That is, you can say to recapitulate, you can say to elucidate, and you can say, in conclusion, to sum up. These points are very important. This will give a clear picture to the examiner that you are writing the conclusion part. And do not forget to use the comma after this phrase. Second point is restate the thesis statement in different words. You can use a thesis statement, your opinion, but it should be in different words. Do not use the same word that you have used in the introduction part. Third one is give some personal opinions, hopes or recommendations about the future. Here you can simply use some recommendation. For example, what do you think that how to deal with this one? So if this is the question, you can simply say that government should take some punitive actions regarding it, some recommendation that you can give in the conclusion part. Use good vocabulary by paraphrasing. I explained you earlier as well. You have to use a very good vocabulary, by using the paraphrasing. Paraphrasing means you can change the words in different synonyms. Let's discuss about few things which you need to avoid in the conclusion part. I have seen many students, they write these words, because of that they lose their score. So I'm going to explain in this session here what are the things you should avoid in the conclusion. See, I have mentioned here there are a few things. The number one, do not use informal linking devices. The last part of the conclusion part, guys, when you use the linking devices, make sure you do not use these informal words like I reckon. This is informal word, so do not use I reckon. All in all, this is again informal. In the end, this is informal. Generally speaking, this is too vague for the conclusion part, guys. So try to avoid this word as well, generally speaking. Then finally, when you use the word finally, it shows that you are making another final point. So it can be in the third paragraph, but do not write this thing in the conclusion part. Lastly, it means you have a last point to make again. Then all things considered. This is again informal word. So try to avoid these words. Rather than this, you can simply use to recapitulate, comma, you can say to elucidate, comma, or you can say in conclusion, you can say to conclude with. So these are the good words which you can use. Second thing is do not use memorized stock sentences. Some students, what they do that, they keep on learning, different essays. They try to cram or mugged up some lines from those conclusions. So please avoid. Make sure that examiners are quite acquainted with all these things. They check it, so they understand that if they find something that you have copied from somewhere else, you are tend to lose your scoring in that sense. So do not use the memorized stock sentence like I formally agree, as stated above, according to the aforementioned point. So please try to avoid these. Rather than you can have a substitute of that. I'll explain you later. Now, the third point is do not go into too much detail, as it should be 3 to 4 sentences, and keep it short and concise. Many of our students, what they do, they keep on writing. They do not realize how many words they are using in the conclusion part. They try to explain that. Guys, make sure you are supposed to explain this thing in the body paragraph. You are not supposed to explain something in the conclusion part. So here you can simply do not write down too much details about a topic. Just write down 3 to 4 lines, which should be suffice for that. Fourth, do not add new information in the conclusion part. You have mentioned something in the body para 1 and para 2, and do not use any new information. Whatever the things that you have mentioned in the body paragraphs, try to simply give overall summary of that in the conclusion part. So do not use your own information in that. Now let's discuss about how to write effective conclusion by using the formulas we have discussed before. Now you can see here there is a question, practical skills such as money management should be taught in high school. Do you agree or disagree? This question clearly says this is opinion based. You can go for agree part, you can go for this disagree part, or both sides. It's up to you. But now when you're writing the introduction part, I have written here the introduction part for you and conclusion part. So you can have a look here. It is often argued that students should be taught real life skills like how to look after money. This essay agrees that there should be a part of the curriculum and discuss how everyday competencies benefit people in later life and dangers of not being taught. So clearly this is the background facts of the topic and what this essay will do. You have explained here. Now how your conclusion part should look like. You can see here in conclusion, comma, this is very important to use formal line. In conclusion, this essay supports the idea that teenagers ought to be taught functional subjects like financial planning because it helps them in adulthood, and lack of education related to these topics can have serious consequences. So now how I have made this conclusion part, guys, by using the same words in different way. That is by the use of synonyms. That is very important to paraphrase it. So I have paraphrased. You can see the words. This essay supports. I have converted to this essay agrees. Second, here this essay supports. This is supports that, and this is this essay agrees. Now ought to I have converted to the should. Teenagers I have converted to the students. Functional subjects I have converted to real life skills. Look after money is converted to financial planning. Later in life is converted to adulthood, and dangers to serious consequences. This is a very good effective way to write the conclusion part, guys, and you feel that it's very different and take, and it will definitely boost up your score while writing any category of the essay. Let's discuss one more question based on the previous formula, how to write the conclusion part. Here you can see a question, blood sports have become a hot topic for debate in recent years. As society develops, it is increasingly seen as an uncivilized activity and cruel to the helpless animals that are killed. Blood sports should be banned. To what extent do you agree or disagree? This is opinion based question again. You can go for agree part or disagree. It's your wish. Now in this case, this is the blood sport. This is a very common question, guys. You may also receive in the examination. So prepare for this thing. Blood sports is very common. You can see in Spain as well, like bullfighting, which is very common. Many animals, they lose their life. So in that case, it should be banned or not. You have to talk about it. So how I have written the conclusion part of this. To conclude, this is very important to use the comma after this. It is clear that blood sports must be prohibited, as no civilized society should allow the pain and suffering of animals simply for fun. Now you have to give your recommendation, means your prediction about it, or your I've explained you before. I hope that governments around the world should discuss this issue with haste and forbid this inhuman type of sports as soon as possible. So this is the way of writing the effective conclusion part, guys.